up your sleeves, Needham. If you want to get casual or if you want to dive into real estate here in Needham, it's time to watch What's My House Worth? I am Rob Ticktin. This is Ryan McDonnell. We are with Hawthorne Real Estate. We are a design build firm. We also provide real estate brokerage services and just about everything in between. Wouldn't you say, Ryan?
Whatever it takes, Rob.
But right now, we are instead going to talk a little bit about September sales data in Needham. Per MLS, we're going to be talking single-family home sales. And how do we work it? Usually smallest sales price, Ryan, up to the largest sales price.
We cover them all.
That's right, we do. But for now, take a look at the September sales data. And Ryan, as you looked at the rolled up information, what do you see?
Well, we see 23 homes selling in September, down a little bit from a big month of August of 35. The average list price, however, is up to $906 for the homes that sold in September, up from $855 in August, with an average sale price at $924, almost $925.
Wait a minute. Let me get this right, Ryan. The sales price is exceeding the list price.
Right. Well, as you get to our next line item, Rob, our next graphic, we have homes selling at 102% of their list price.
I think that's new territory.
That is uncharted waters, and there are a couple in particular that we're going to highlight later on the show, which give those numbers a little bit of a boost.
Yeah.
And then they're selling at 101% of the original list, which, as you know, because you're all repeat watchers, that's the number that I like to focus on the most.
And I believe that's the first time we've been over 100% of original list.
Yeah, I believe you're right. So an interesting month from a macro level. So it should be interesting to kind of comb through the individual sales and to see how we got to those numbers.
Average sales price per square foot, $369. Days on market,
51. This is up a little bit up as well, but still, I mean, geez, anytime when you're churning in 2 months, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's right. And 24 homes that sold in September of 2013. And before we compare this September to Septembers of the past, let's first take a look at the trend of the previous 6 months. And not to be too surprised by that, Ryan, correct?
No, not at all. I mean, the peak months of June, July, and August that are representative of the activity from the spring, trailing off in September because the summer cools down. We would expect to see similar numbers in October and even probably less in December, or November, December, January.
Right, which means we're going to be really scratching and clawing for information.
Right.
For
things to talk about
content.
on the show.
Right. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
For now, 23 sales isn't such a bad number. It's also not such a bad number for the month of September, because as we look at the previous 6 years, we see that 23 looks about right where it should be.
Yep. Pretty, you're
consistent.
pretty consistent.
August was pretty consistent as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So there's your macro data. Now let's take a look at the individual home sales in September. And as I stated earlier, we're going to start low and work our way up just in terms of sale price. And the first one that's on our list is located at 12 Evergreen Road.
Yes, Rob, 12 Evergreen Road. I think this one did well in a strong market. You're talking about property that's 1,680 square feet, which isn't exactly small, but getting 563,000, despite the listing agent's attempts to really bolster the location. It's probably not, when you're comparing all of Needham, one of the top locations in Needham. But I think it did well. I mean, it's 27 days on market. It is a big cape. That is, the 1680 is public record, so that's a legitimate number. So I think, but getting 563 is a pretty good deal for the seller.
Sure, not often that we see a 4-bed, 2-bath leading off the show. The 2 baths probably had a little bit to do with them getting that better number.
Yeah, and the 4 beds obviously are not all on the second floor, so it is a cape. So.
Good observation.
Thank you.
133 Honeywell Street is next up on our list. This one is 3 beds, 2 baths. It sells for $587. Looks like it was priced pretty well there, Ryan.
Yeah, this one had some history. I mean, it came out at $599.9, went contingent, then back on the market, but when it back on the market, it was priced at $610, and then it sat for 2 months.
They got greedy.
Right. So then they changed the price back down to $599.9, and guess what happened? Went under agreement.
Right.
So if nothing else, this illustrates the psychological difference between $599.9 and $610.
Well, I think it also indicates the psychological effect it has on somebody when you increase the price. Because when they saw that it was on for $599 and now it's on for $610, people will be waiting back thinking, I could have had this house for less.
Yeah.
So why do I have to pay more now when I could have had it at $599 before it went under agreement the first time?
Sure. And one of the things that's highlighted here is the high-end plantation shutters. I mean, those you walk through a house, you're like, oh, those are nice. But when you actually think about how expensive plantation shutters are, they're valuable, and I think they're worth mentioning. So Good.
Yeah, so you like that part of the listing sheet,
I do.
guess.
I do. List what you have.
List what you have. If you take anything away from today's show, it's list what you have.
Bring things to light. Like you want someone to know something that's valuable about your house, mention it. So I like that.
Right. Be original.
Right?
We don't talk about plantation shutters very often
Not
on the
enough.
show.
Not enough.
24 Gary Road is our next sale. This one goes for $590,000. It was priced quite a bit higher, Ryan.
Wee bit. Went out at 680, which is probably a little aggressive. I think this is product of being in a really good market and trying to a seller saying I want to get what's mine type. But so it's a little bit heavy on the pricing. 2 price reductions down from 680 to 649.5, and then ultimately to 629.5, and it closes at 590. So.
It's a convenient location to 128 to the highway. What do you think about the admission that it's an older home being sold as is?
I don't mind it. I mean, again, it's right back to put what you have out there and price it right. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, we're telling you that it's old, but we're still asking for a price that represents otherwise. So I think $590 for a split in this location, in this condition, is a good deal.
Right. Plus, it's we've talked about this too. It's a disclaimer, basically telling any prospective buyers that when it comes time to inspect the house, don't expect everything to be brand new because it won't be. It is an older home and it is to be sold as is.
Yep.
So you're saving yourself from some pain later, just to get things out in the open now. 12 Mason Road. We're gonna kind of skip across down a little bit closer to Wellesley there. Not too far from Olin Woods.
Not too far.
But not in Olin Woods.
Nope.
It's across Great Plain.
Yep.
12 Mason Road had the makings potentially of a land sale. Do
Yeah.
you know if it was?
I don't know if it was or not. I mean, but $630,000 for essentially for a ranch. It's in moving condition. It's a little dated. You're right. It could potentially be a land sale, but I think that would be a big number for land in that particular spot.
Although quarter acre.
True, it's over 10,000 square feet. Yes. So we'll keep an eye on that, but it's $436 a foot for a ranch. So we'll see.
202 Lindbergh Ave. Speaking of ranches,
Yep, this is another one.
this was a ranch, a little bit more of a visible ranch.
Yeah,
a lot of our viewers probably know where this one is located.
Right. This is on the corner of Lindbergh and Webster, right near the high school. Not directly across from it, but right near it. This one also had a nice walkout, lower level, with a fireplace. It had some finished space down there, which was nice. 2-car garage. What was holding this one back, I think, was just 1.5 baths. So it doesn't have that full bath in the master that a lot of these ranches you sometimes see have that. But again, you're getting $655,000 for a ranch, obviously in a Mitchell location, but a busy corner.
Busy corner, and because it's on the corner, you're sacrificing a little bit of backyard space
Correct.
where you might otherwise have if it wasn't on a corner lot.
Yep.
2-car garage comes with that one too, Ryan.
Yeah.
27 Avery Street is a house, if memory serves, that you popped into.
A couple times. It was on the market back in 2008 for $626. Then again, didn't sell. Again in 2009 for $585. Still didn't sell. And then now, 2014, it's back up to $625.
And everybody wants it.
Everybody wants it. Goes over asking with the parade, fanfare, the whole 9 yards. This is a nice house. I mean, it abuts Cricket Field.
Right, which is a huge plus.
Yeah, I think it's a big plus too. But it had some quirks. It's a little dated, but charming. It has 2 baths, but one of them, one's on the second floor, one's in the basement, and the one in the basement, it's a room that has a sink, a toilet, the boiler, and the washer and dryer. So it's kind of like an all-in-one laundry room, bathroom, mechanical room.
Get a lot of stuff done.
It's bang for your buck in that room.
Get a lot of stuff done there,
Yeah.
all at once.
Yeah, so I mean, $660 with competition. It's product of a really strong market, but hey, it closed. Good sale.
5 Bird Street. Not sure if this one's a good sale or not. Interested to hear what you have to say about this one. It sells for $661. Original is $610. Again, I think we're starting to understand and we're starting to see why these sales prices per square foot are higher than the list prices per square foot. This one, $51,000 more than what it was listed for out of the gate.
And this one's on the right on the corner of Greendale and Bird.
Yeah.
So you hear Bird, you're like, oh great, right near Broadmeadow. So this one's right smack on the corner, Greendale. It's an impressive number. So I think 661 is the seller. I think I'm sure very happy with this.
Yeah, a busier corner with Greendale. Plus you hear the action on 128 as well.
You do. But this was, don't get me wrong, finished very nicely.
Right.
This house was you move in and drop your bags and you're done. And so I think the buyer's probably happy because they got a nice house, and the seller's happy because they got $50,000 more than they thought they were getting.
Right, the 1512 does not include 312 square feet in the finished basement. 65 Rivard Road, kind of a sneaky location. Not many people know where that is, but it's a walk to town location. Ryan, would you agree?
Yeah, it's off a Great Plains, sort of as you're heading out of town towards Wellesley. This one listed and sold in 2012, listed for $618, sold for $607. And here we are, less than 2 years later, getting $661.5 without doing anything.
Decent little return on the investment.
It's about 9% for those math majors sitting at home.
Not including commissions paid.
True.
But 63 days on the market.
Yeah.
And
they just sweat a little bit.
Appropriately
Then got over asking.
Appropriately priced. Yeah. Well, it's the contingency that really, I think, throws off the days on market.
True.
Because homes are going not under agreement, but they're being marked as contingent, meaning they are essentially under agreement, but the days on market continue to churn.
Right.
I wonder if there's any talk about changing that.
You mean since we mentioned it in our last show?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure MLS is a buzz.
Right.
I'm sure the phones have been ringing off the hook since we talked about it last month.
I mean, there's outrage.
Yeah, as there should be.
Right.
1 Emerson Place is the next house. As we climb that pricing ladder, this one sells for, oh, look at that, $695, listed for $700. That looks like a well-priced home, Ryan.
I would agree, and I like this house. I mean, nice updates throughout, and they also took care of some of the things that people hate to do, like the roof, the HVAC. Its house was re-sided with the durable hardy plank siding. The kitchen's been updated, the bath, so you really just can move right in. And this is definitely a walk-to-town location. You know, Emerson is right off Chestnut, right outside of town. But I noticed you highlighted one of the exclusions, Rob.
Right, it's the alarm.
How do you do that?
Yeah, all I can imagine is they just mean that like there's an alarm clock.
I mean, I don't know how you exclude an alarm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they yank the wires out?
Perhaps it was wireless?
We need to follow up on this because that's a new one.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Okay.
So thanks for noticing.
You're welcome.
I mean, maybe it's some other type of alarm that we're not thinking about.
What kind, like a smoke alarm?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, like an alarm clock.
All right,
That's all I can think
if anybody knows, please, we'll tell you how to contact us later.
Or better yet, if you have an alarm in your house that you wouldn't leave with the house when you sold yours, call us and tell us what kind it is.
Right, because we're curious.
Time to get a little serious with the next home address. It's 666 Webster Street.
Yeah.
Does that make you think of anything, Ryan? It's just strictly looking at the home address, not necessarily the street name or not necessarily the word street.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that turns some people off. I mean, it's some people might be like, what? But 666, as we know in certain superstitious circles, is the number of the devil.
Yeah, at the bare minimum, it would at least warrant some kind of
Pause.
The people who bought this house, they're going to have that conversation with visitors.
Right, it'll come up. But I mean, the house is. I mean, we both liked it. I mean, it's dated, but it has lots of character. I really like the first floor layout. In these older homes, sometimes you don't have a nice flow to the layout, and this one had nice floor plan, which I was surprised by.
Nice location too.
Yeah, but it's on a busy street. It's a relatively small lot, which with that and the dreaded street number might have contributed to its 74 days on market.
Ah, the dreaded street number. We don't say that very often.
No, it rarely comes up.
Just want to savor it for a minute. Okay, 11 Alfreton Road is our next home. This one is, we've talked about this location a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a great location, right?
Love it. It's right, just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Needham Heights. All the goods about Needham Heights. You got Trader Joe's, you got the train, you got everything. It's right there.
Well, that's what I love about this spot,
Yeah.
is you can walk to all these places, but at the same time, you're on a nice, quiet little alcove, really friendly neighborhood. I think a lot to be said about 11 Alfreton. But anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. It sells for $730,000.
And the lot was only 5,200 square feet, which then contributes to that a lot, at least a little bit.
What do you think about a wonderful village feel? You like that description? It's not bad.
I mean, is it applicable?
Sure. No?
It's subjective.
Okay. I don't think there was much of a village feel at 158 Richdale Road, which isn't to say that
No,
there should have been.
Because people were crawling over each other's backs to try to get to the door, apparently.
Yeah, clearly. Oh, wow. Wait, I see some red writing there.
Right.
Huh.
This one, take it away, Rob.
Thanks, Ryan. 804 was a great number for this house. That's really all I can say to start things off. When I walked through it at 719, I thought that wouldn't be a terrible number to get. But clearly, the timing was right. The location we know is a desirable location. Nothing really blew my doors off
Yeah.
with the listing itself. It's a pretty traditional cape, just 1.5 baths, 4 beds. But typically speaking, we haven't seen many homes that are capes, that are 1,800 square feet, that are 4 beds, that are 1.5 baths, who have broken through that $800,000 barrier.
No.
And and if we knew one was coming, I probably wouldn't have guessed it would have been this one. So that right there, I think, earns it my deal of the month.
Yeah, I mean, when I initially walked through it, we're talking about $526 a foot if you don't include the basement.
It's a lot of money, Ryan.
It's a lot, and there were 6 offers on the property. I mean, and when I was walking through it, I was almost looking at it as this is a potential teardown candidate. And mean no offense to the house or the people that bought it, but were it not for its kind of odd lot, I think you would have had some builders in the mix, but not at that number. Mm-hmm. And that just speaks to the people talk about how builders sort of price people out of the market, but I mean, this is homeowners fighting in the front yard for a house and bidding it up to $804,500, which I think is a really, really surprising number for this particular property.
It feels a little bit like a trickle down from the spring market.
Yeah, absolutely.
115 Mark Tree Road is a house that I really liked, Ryan.
Me too.
I thought it had a lot of charm. I thought it was very unique. It was set back. It was on a little bit of a busier road, Mark Tree.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 12,600 square foot of lot, and as you mentioned, set back. So you're not really on top of Mark Tree.
I think the one thing that held this back from selling for a good bit more than 809 was the fact that it was only 3 beds. It felt like it was bigger than a 3-bed home.
And it doesn't have a garage.
That's right. But 2,400 square feet, really didn't need a lot, and was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned it's unique. It's I mean, when you have a split or a cape or a typical colonial, there's a lot of things that are similar to other homes of the same ilk, but this one really kind of stands alone. There aren't too many houses like it in Needham, and I really liked it.
And priced obviously very well. It was just on the market for 5 days.
Yep.
93 Gayland Road is our next home. This one sells for $829. It was listed for $829. Priced well.
I believe it was $300 a foot. I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, it's a great deal for the buyer. So well below the average price per square foot. You're getting 2,700 square feet, but there's some older features here too. I mean, it's a little dated. The roof, the disclaimers even speak to the roof being old, the mechanicals, etc. So you're going to have some work to do long term in this property.
But a house that you can grow into when you talk about 5 bedrooms and 3 baths.
It's a lot of space, no question.
A lot of space, and that tends to happen. We get more space as we climb that ladder. Mm-hmm. And we're continuing to climb that ladder, and we're climbing it next to 180 Parish Road.
Yeah, and the new owners are going to be climbing a winding wrought iron staircase in their family room. What do you think about that? You remember that?
Nice segue, Ryan.
Yeah.
I do.
Thanks.
I do.
We didn't even talk about that. That's just organic.
No, we very rarely talk outside of the show.
Yeah, so this one...
It was a second staircase.
Right, it's not the main staircase, but it's in the family room. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just putting your who's going to buy the house hat on for a second, if you're talking about a young family, that staircase is, you can never really be...
You're not using it.
Well, you're not using it, but you're worried about people using it without authorization or supervision because it's just...
It was tight.
Yeah, so... I mean, that's that, and then it's across from the cemetery, which you obviously can't change. But I think getting $830 for this house, it was a little bit of a challenge. Went off then on.
Right.
I think there was actually a story about why it didn't close, which was interesting. But with the first one, I should say. So nice house, decent space, some updates. But for me, it's that staircase and the cemetery were the two sort of hot buttons that maybe held it back a little bit.
It's interesting. I remember it going on and off the market, but I don't remember it being interesting. 306 Manning Street is our... Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll fill you in.
All right. When this slide comes up, we can whisper about it. 306 Manning Street is our... Hold on one second. Ryan, what? No. 306 Manning Street is our next home. Sells for $845,000. Good location, Ryan.
Yes. It's on Manning. It's near the corner of Holland, I believe, is the side street. It's updated. It is charming. It's unique. It's another house that it's not a carbon copy of any of its neighbors. Not overly large, but comfortable. Has some updates.
They had some nice updates.
Suite edition.
Yeah, that's right. The master bath was very nice.
Yeah. So I think it was on the market for a little while. I think it might have gone under once, if I'm not mistaken, but it might be.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. I mean, $845. I think this is a pretty good deal. I mean, I think I like it all around.
We have a pretty steep jump here. Usually, they line up nicely, but the 306 Manning sells for $845, and we're suddenly going to kind of long jump it right through that $1 million mark.
Yeah, who needs the 9s this month, huh?
No 9s this month.
All right,
so
let's get after
for
it.
you fans of 9s, we apologize. But, oh,
Wow.
red writing.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't resist. I mean, it's just anytime a house sells for $200,000 over asking,
They're asking for it.
they're asking to be the deal of the month. So, I mean, the seller's got to be ecstatic. Multiple offers, to say the least. Close to 20, not quite 20, but in that neighborhood. I mean, this is a great house. I mean, it's right next to Broadmeadow School. It's been recently renovated. It has everything people who are coming to Needham typically ask for when they're looking for a property.
Yep.
And it came on at the absolute perfect time.
Timing's everything.
And it came on in a weekend where there were other homes in the $875 price range, and this one just blew them out of the water. So everybody that was going to see those other homes was also seeing this one, and the other ones paled in comparison. This one got a ton of activity, and it got bid up to $200,000 over asking, and it appraised and closed. So that's a great job right there.
Well
Good
done.
work.
We're gonna take another big jump.
Why not?
$200,000 plus.
Yeah.
Just 1/6 shy of another crazy house number, but just 66 Ellicott Street. Sells for 13088, and that's a pretty good number, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1.3 for a house that's not new. It has a recent addition, 2009, but this was a really nice house. I mean, it was well done.
I would hope so.
It showed very, very well. It's a great location. I mean, updated throughout. Nice master suite, nice kitchen. So I think this is a strong number, and it sold pretty quickly, and I really, I like it. I mean, I think you're not going to be able to get much better than this in this location for any less. And
Right.
so I think it's a good deal.
2.5 baths. You don't see many 2.5 baths for over that 1.3 million number.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
We're gonna
I
grow.
take back everything I said, I guess.
Yeah, thanks. Feels good. We're gonna grow in size now, in terms of the home size, to 86 Evelyn Road. This is 1,000 square feet bigger than 66 Ellicott. Maybe not as desirable, I would say, of a location necessarily as Ellicott. That's what the numbers tell us anyway. But this is a new construction home.
Yeah, I mean, this is the highest number for a home in this part of town. I mean, I looked back 3 years, I didn't see anything near. The only thing I saw close to it was the house on Cedar that closed in August at 1.388. So this is peaking, getting over 1.4 for new construction in this part of town, which is Evelyn is off of Gould in the Heights.
Yeah.
Which there's some great neighborhoods over there. This is setting the bar for those neighborhoods. So maybe that's a sign of things to come over there.
I mean, it has to happen in every neighborhood at some point, right? Mm-hmm. It happened to 105 Damon Road.
Yeah.
Maybe not this month, but it happened there, and it's happening there again in September. 105 Damon Road sells for 1.415.
Yeah, Damon's in our, you hear us talk about this underrated walk-to-town location.
Yeah.
And Damon is right in the thick of it.
Yep.
You have some nice homes on the street. This one's a big lot. It's 11,372 square feet. It's a good number. I mean, you're getting, into the 1.4s for new construction there. And again, just like we talked about on Evelyn, this is sort of setting the bar for another part of town that's going to do very well. And all of the homes around it benefit from sale prices like
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely. Back to Ellicott Street.
Okay.
I mean, right back to Ellicott
Yeah,
Street.
I mean, we didn't skip many. You just went right back there, didn't you?
We go from 66 to 99 Ellicott Street. This is a new construction home, right?
Sure is.
A narrower lot, which explains the garage laid out the way it is.
Yep.
A little bit closer to Great Plain Avenue,
Yep.
but a walk to everything, and it's a lovely tree-lined. Is it a ladder street?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I noticed that too. I think I got a little bit liberal with the grabbing onto the ladder streets. I don't think people on the ladder streets really are going to appreciate that.
That's a good point. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're because the
Yeah.
the edges of the ladder is Great Plain,
Right.
and this is beyond.
Right.
So it's an overhang.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's only so much we can do. We just work with what we have here.
Right. We can only point it out. Unfortunately, we can't police it for now.
Right.
Sells for 1.525. 89 Livingston Circle. This is I believe this is a younger home. It is. It's newer.
Built in 2005.
It's fledgling.
Yep.
Right.
This is a big resale number. I mean,
Yeah.
this was a custom home. This lot sold for $635 in 2004, which at that time must have been
That's a huge number in 2004.
It really is, because there's a lot that sold a couple years ago for that number. And so that's a striking purchase price. But you're talking about turning around, 10 years later and selling it for 1.615. So this is a good number for a resale. Very nice on the inside. I mean, this is a nice home. It was well built, and I think they're probably pretty happy.
Well, Livingston Circle, talk a little bit about the neighborhood, right? A lot of people who live there swear by it. I mean,
Yes.
as is the case with every neighborhood, but it seems as much so with Livingston as any place else.
Right. I mean, Livingston is like a little enclave of it's a very social neighborhood. There's a lot of people that come to us and they ask, about availability in Livingston Circle. We've done a couple of projects there. We're about to embark on another one, and people really respond well, and they really like being there and being a part of that community.
Do you think the proximity to the building department is a plus?
It makes it easier for us when building a house. Yes.
It also makes it easier if you want to go fishing in the summer because the
Or
pond is
skating.
right behind the building department, and it's a short stroll.
Yeah.
72 Richdale Road is our final home. That's right, it's our
Big seller.
big seller, Ryan. Correct. Sells for $165. I feel like it's a little low for a big seller for us.
I know.
We're
I
usually
know.
closer to 2 this part of the show.
Yeah.
No offense to 72 Richdale Road.
No, but again, this is a strong number.
Yeah, 4,400 square feet.
Yes, bang. But you've got a walkout basement. Richdale is in Mitchell. It's a nice street. But 165. That's a good sale price.
So that's 2 good sales prices on Richdale this month.
Yeah, Richdale had a good month. Everybody on Richdale's property values just went up just a teeny bit. So
Yeah.
good work, Richdale. You got to be happy about that.
Yeah, it's not called Richdale for nothing.
Oh, that's just gold.
Is that low-hanging fruit? So that concludes our 23, right, Ryan?
23, yeah.
23 sales for September. Now we're going to take a peek at the market snapshot. There it is. Ryan, that's as of October 3rd, 2014. Some would say it's breaking because it's so recent.
Yeah.
All right, what do you see? What do you see when you look at that?
I see a decent amount of inventory, Rob. I mean, we've got 94 single-family listings right now, and we are approaching the slow time of the year.
Agreed.
So I think the market has softened a little bit. I think even though
A seasonal softening.
fine, but even though we're talking about a month where the average home sold for 102% of asking, I still feel like we're, in just the feeling out there right now is that that urgency isn't necessarily there. Like people are being a little bit more picky. They may feel like that you don't have to, overlook the 5 things about the house that you don't love and still write an offer for $20,000 over. So I think some of the inventory that we have on the market right now is, you might not see that burst before we start bundling up for the winter.
Yes, but with that being said, homes that are priced well
Always.
and priced appropriately, you don't have to worry about those homes.
Always. We always talk about location and price. If you got both of those things going for you, and you're talking about Needham, you're gonna be in for a quick and relatively painless sales process.
Still, as we look at that market snapshot, still surprising that the number of active single-family listings is up. You would think it would start to work its way down this time of year. Single-family homes under agreement, there were 61 last month.
Yep, 61 this month. So are they the same 61 homes?
I don't know.
I don't think that's possible. But and what's even more sort of, you're talking about an average list price of $1.3 million. So that also speaks to a lot of like the high inventory and all of that, because the bigger homes tend to take longer to sell. There's a lot of homes that are put on during construction that the days on market churns, and they contribute to high average list prices, et cetera. But we still have a lot of inventory to churn through. So it's be interesting.
And average list price down, which is surprising. And the thing that jumps out at me is the list price per square foot. How is that so much lower than the sales price per square foot? Food for thought there.
Yeah,
as
we'll revisit that
as we close out our show. In the meantime, Ryan, if anybody wants to get a hold of us for any reason,
go ahead and give us a call. You can call us at 781-707-6564, or you can email us at rob.ryan@hawthornre.com.
for now, that's it for this installment of What's My House Worth. Thanks for joining us. We will see you again very soon. Please stay warm and have a good costume.
Happy Halloween, yeah.